No
we'll give
English
you,
player.
we'll give you.
No English player goes abroad this day.
It's never happened. That's true. But I mean, even United basically put in the same bid as Dortmund, but they're like, we'll give you it in installments. So we'll pay you this much this year, this much this year, this much this year, and then by the end of it, we'll have the same as Dortmund. With Dortmund, like, we'll give you 30 million, and then that's it. And Birmingham were like, we'll take that. We're not going to take this 5 million a year bull crap, and then add-ons if he gets Ballon d'Or. So, and then I'm pretty sure Chelsea went in for him, and I think maybe Liverpool did, but at the same time, like, it's a good decision from him to go there because he knows that if he goes to Dortmund,
he will play.
He's going to play.
He will play.
Or if he comes to United, Chelsea, or Liverpool, probably wouldn't get any play.
Mm-hmm.
Although this season you could argue that he might have got played in Liverpool because they're playing Curtis Jones as well.
I wonder what it is about when these players are going abroad. Like, what is it about? Because it is in particular, you rarely see a English player go abroad and he doesn't get better.
Yeah,
with like a young English player.
Why don't they develop that well in England?
That or why aren't they being given the chance if they can? Is it money or do you think like I'm playing in a foreign country? There's not pressure on me on an international level.
That could be. Yeah, you're right. That could be it too. Because I mean, like now with Pulisic. And I mean, I know he's not English, but he's getting a lot more press now that he's at Chelsea in the Premier League than he would be than he did when he was at Dortmund.
Right.
So, yeah, I think money definitely has stuff to do with it. Like, because with England, it's so money driven, like based on your position and stuff. So you want to play your players that are going to give you those positions. Because like if you go back to when like 1992 when Fergie was there, like. No matter where you landed in the table, unless you were the champions, like you still got everyone got like the same amount of money. But now it's so
way more steep,
way different from coming from 7th to 4th is like I'm pretty sure it's like 30 million, which is a great player. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like 30 million buys you a great player.
Yeah.
So
the fantasy might be good for lower team, like the fantasy. Like the app and all that might be good for lower teams then because that's obviously bringing in like I mean I would never watch a Sheffield West Brom game but I did
yeah
so it could benefit
but that
everybody
benefits,
in the league
that benefits the Premier League though that doesn't benefit
them directly
and if we're talking about young
and that's
players
until they place higher okay
but like young players basically like usually they get loaned out to like last year or 2 years ago Chelsea loaned out basically their entire academy to championship teams. And then United this year have loaned out Jimmy Garner and Dylan Levitt and Chong. And Chong's doing all three of them seem to be doing phenomenal.
Yeah, Watford assisted last week.
Yeah,
or Garner assisted for Watford, right? Yeah.
Like so, maybe
I haven't heard anything about Levitt though. He went to Charlton. I don't know if that's the best club to be loaned at. Watford, a newly relegated team. That's not a bad choice.
Yeah.
But
see, with Charlton though, is that they were desperate need for a midfielder, and he is getting played and he's doing his thing. Like his positioning was center defensive mid, and
you think he'd be more of an 8, Levitt?
See, that's what I thought. I thought Garner was a 6 and Levitt was the 8.
You look at them both and you're thinking that makes sense.
But then apparently, like it was like that 2 years ago, and then apparently last year it switched where Levitt started sitting and Garner started going forward. Super weird.
You have to let Garner go forward. He's got a Scholes-esque like pass on him.
Yeah,
and a shot too.
Oh, dude, his shot is insane.
He made sure to take advantage of his debut. He scored on his debut for us, didn't he? He had like a screamer.
Garner?
Yeah, am I remembering that correctly?
I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. But, yeah, it just sucks for young English players because I think you're right. I think it has to do with pressure because Hudson-Odoi is a great player, but with all this pressure all the
speculation and he's probably asking himself, looking online, like, why am I not playing?
Yeah. Exactly.
Whereas, if you're elsewhere, it's like, I get my chance when I get my chance.
Yeah.
But there's a different perspective of it here where it's like, is Hudson-Odoi not good? Well, no, Pulisic and Werner are at the same club he is.
Yeah, so they're older and more experienced.
Yeah.
So is Hudson-Odoi still a teenager or is he 20 now?
I believe he's 20.
Yeah. But and that's another thing. Like, it's very rare nowadays that you find a teenager who is just out blowing people out of the water. Like when Gerrard first came up, he was 17, 18, and he was playing phenomenal in the midfield. Ferdinand, when he first came through at I think it was West Ham, and he went to Leeds. Like I think he was 19 going to Leeds, and he was one of their best players. And then obviously Rooney was like, as a 16-year-old, scoring a banger against Arsenal when he comes on for his Premier League debut, and then obviously going to see what he did for his young career was absurd. And then Ronaldo, another one, 19. But now you have these young players. Like Mbappe, yeah, he was great. He had a really good World Cup. He hasn't done anything of exceeding any expectations, though, in my opinion, since that World Cup. Like, I've never seen anything about him. And again, I think it's because he's in the French league. But
yeah, he's so hyped up.
Then João Felix, he played great in Portugal. Didn't do anything last year in Spain.
Well, it's like you said though, and I believe I even said it at the time. It's not the right move. They don't have a fluid attack. Atletico's never had just a fluid gameplay. Yeah. I mean, look at the strikers they've had: Falcao, Costa, Aguero. All would go through a brick wall. Every one of them, without question. Griezmann fit in just because he's good and he can play off the wing, and he's creative enough to work in the midfield. That
he played wing there, yeah.
So, say Felix would have killed it in Italy. Any team he went to in Italy, he would have killed it because I feel like his style of play fits that.
Not Inter though.
Maybe not. Probably not Inter, but he's a trequartista. Like he plays like old Italians used to, like in the 80s and 70s. They're the kind of people who would just hang off a striker, which is what he did in Portugal. Yeah. But it's you're a floating. It's like an advanced 10.
The one thing about it
is false 9.
No one in Italy could have afforded him for 100 mil. No one in Italy has that money. Not even Juventus.
Not for what they were asking. No,
yeah, not even Juventus has that. When they got Ronaldo for 100 million, I was like, how did they do that? Because the only reason why Atletico had the money was because they just sold Griezmann for 90 million. So they were like, well, we'll just take in a potentially maybe younger Griezmann. Which
that's the thing that I don't know how you can acquire that kind of market value in half a season.
Yeah, it's all like commercial based. Like when the player's doing really good,
any player on any team ever can have a good half a season, no matter how old he is. Like I just think it's wild to look at him for 4 months and be like, yo, he's worth $150 million. Yeah. That's an insane amount of money for 4 months.
You're right. I mean, it's basically the same thing that Haaland. The only reason why he was so cheap going to Dortmund was because I'm pretty sure in his contract that he signed with Salzburg is that if he goes to a Champions League squad, that whatever bid goes in for him, they have to accept it as long as it's like within a certain range.
No, they fixed him up right with that contract. Yeah, because he has a clear avenue out of Dortmund if he wants to go, but does he want to go?
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of what they left open. Because they were straight up like, this is your club if you want to be here, but we're going to give you a clear door out if you want one. And that's probably what he wanted. He was like, sure.
If I'm him, I'm staying there until I'm 23. Just 3 years, still play. You're playing Champions League consistently. You're playing on a team that's going to consistently be in a league title race, in League Cup runs.
They bought great players the year before they got Holland, or the summer before they got Holland.
With, we had Hazard, Brandt,
Schultz. They picked up that Akanji dude, that center back. I don't know if he's still killing it.
That's what I don't understand about these top teams. Is that like, look at what Dortmund does and just copy them. They bring in the best young players all the time, and then just sell them, and they're still at the top every single time.
They're able to because they rotate properly. Like that's a thing that every manager in the Premier League wants to win a treble they're all aiming for a treble. Then there's rarely any rotation. Like we would play almost our exact starting 11 in cup games last year. It's unnecessary. That's not the most important trophy we can win. And Dortmund has it set up to where they have a fantastic academy. We do too, but you know what I mean. Like so we could do this, but Dortmund has a fantastic academy. And once they get through and they're like 18, 19, they're primed and ready to go. They're running and gunning young. And then they buy young, too, because they have great scouts.
Yeah.
It starts with the youth. But what I'm saying is that's how they can rotate, is that if they've got 2 good strikers, 1 third string, and then they've got 2 reserve strikers, you're never out. And you can rotate forever, and they all develop because they're all playing first-team football in one way or another. And Man U in particular, we don't do that. It doesn't look like Lampard's doing that. And then other teams just don't
Lampard definitely isn't.
He's
just
definitely not.
Out there.
Definitely not. And
see, the thing
that's
about
why Dortmund's
United,
successful. RB Leipzig's doing the exact same thing.
Leipzig
right
are
now.
doing the exact same thing.
Exact
I think
same thing.
If you anyone close to it in England is United and Arsenal. Chelsea were until Lampard came in.
They were when they had to. No, they were when they had to be. They weren't doing it prior to. Lampard got blue balled the second he stepped into the office. Yeah. So they were lucky with the Pulisic signing.
Arteta's kind of in the same place now where he kind of has to because he doesn't really have anything else.
And he's still not.
Yeah, and then Guardiola.
That's why I think
with Pep, he's never going to use his young players.
No, neither is Mourinho. To be fair, Mourinho doesn't have to right now. I think Mourinho's got exactly what he wants in a squad of 23-year-olds who aren't youth players who have all been established at other clubs, who all know first team football.
Yeah,
he's got fucking over 30 players at the club right now like that.
Dude, that is such a deep team. That's the thing. Like, I think he was trying to do that at United, but they just were not giving him the play. Like, I think that he
knows you need that depth.
Yeah.
It's not a 20-man squad anymore.
No,
it's definitely not. You have to have like a 30-man squad team now.
And everyone's saying like how Jose Mourinho is playing now is like way better than it was at United. No, it's not. It's the exact same way he played at United, except now he's scoring off of it. Remember last season, at the end of the season, when they lost to Norwich playing the same way? When they lost their very good position in the table because they were playing the same way? Yeah, okay, maybe Harry Kane was out for a few games, but, I mean, still, it's just so frustrating saying that, like, Mourinho could have stayed at United and been doing this, but it's like, no, because he wasn't getting the players that he wanted, so there was no point in him staying either. Like, he got sacked because they were playing so bad, but he wouldn't have got the players that he wanted to, like you were saying. Like he knows now that you need a deep team because he literally has an entire team. He has one team that will play in the Premier League, and then he has another team who will play in Europa League and all the cup games.
He has 3 starting 11s.
Yeah, so it's just absurd.
He could use a little more depth on striker, but
definitely
everywhere else is rock solid.
Guarantee you, he hates Troy Parrott after missing that penalty in the FA Cup to Norwich last year.
I don't remember that, but
oh, dude, Troy Parrott's supposed to be like the next best English striker or whatever.
Irish.
Is he Irish?
He's Irish.
Oh, well, he'll probably do that shit that Grealish and Rice did and go to England.
We got a lot of strikers in the pool right now.
Yeah,
with Nketiah and Greenwood coming through,
and Calvert-Lewin.
I'd roll the dice on Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, like Parrott was supposed to be the best, and he missed the penalty. And Jose Mourinho, if you do well for him, he'll play you. But if you mess with him, you fuck up,
don't be bad.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like there's peer pressure, but it's like there's a champion. Not peer pressure, but there's pressure. But it's like there's a champion mentality that you have to have, and that he looks for. That's why he and Ibrahimovic fucking love each other because they're both, lions. You know what I mean? Like they both have like that lion mentality. Yeah.
Like Eto'o, whenever he said that he was at Inter Milan, and Mourinho asked him to play in the wing, and he did. And then when he went to Barcelona, and Pep told him, he's like, I only play in the wing for Jose Mourinho. So it's crazy how some players love him like that, and there's other players that hate him, like Pogba and Mkhitaryan now. It's just the giant gap between some great players and other great players who absolutely love him and absolutely hate him is just crazy to me. Like Martial, I'm not saying he's a great player now because he sold me a lie last year, but I know he hates Mourinho. Because think about it, when Mourinho was leaving United, right? He was trying to get rid of Pogba. He was trying to get rid of Martial. He was trying to get rid of Rashford, and there was someone else.
Star players of other managers.
What do you mean?
He was trying to get rid of the star players from other managers.
Well, the thing is, Pogba came in. Like Pogba was bought the same time that he came in.
But did he buy Pogba?
He was asked, "Do you want Pogba?" And he was like, "Yes." So that's
it was him or Schneiderlin at the time. So
yeah, but
I'm just saying and obviously there is an issue with Pogba because it's still standing. Obviously there's an issue with Martial because it's still standing.